How are you guys doing? Well, today I was in a Value Village store in Eastern Ontario, Canada. And Value Village is a thrift store. Sells secondhand stuff. Well, anyway, I'll get right to it. Well, I started looking around the store. At the front of the store, there's a big glass counter. And they have some watches in the counter. So I walked up to the counter. And they're in the glass counter, of course. These watches are basically just thrown in a little tray, kind of messy like. What did I see? You wouldn't believe it. Saw a fake Rolex. Fake Rolex Daytona. Right in the counter. And it was a Rolex Daytona. It was a 116520 stainless steel bezel with white dial. 40 millimeters type watch. Fake as heck. And then near it was a fake Omega. It was fake Omega. It didn't really match any real current Omegas, but it looked along the lines like an Omega Constellation champagne dial style. But you know how some of these fakes and counterfeit watches are. Some of them will not look like any current model, but they'll have like that fake dial on it, but they won't look like any current model or any past model. And that's what that Omega was like. Then I saw another Rolex behind the counter too. It fell into that same thing where it doesn't look like any current model or any past model. Like that's the way some fakes are. So some fakes look directly like a current or past model, and some just don't look anything like it, but they're still a fake and have the fake name and try to represent itself as that name brand. So the other one was a Rolex with a black type strap, and it's a woman's watch. Then I saw another watch, and it was very questionable. The other one, the last one I saw here, it was it looked just like a Breitling Navitimer, just like an A23322 type of watch. And with the small print on it, I couldn't see if it said Breitling on it, but it looked just like one. So it gave me the impression that one was a fake counterfeit too. But that Rolex Daytona was fake right down to everything. So you're probably wondering, what the heck did you do when you saw that? Well, I walked around the store, thought about it. I thought, well, they shouldn't be having those fake watches. Counterfeit watches. They shouldn't be having them. And just like every YouTube video you see all over the place about fake and counterfeit watches, they say that that's no good. That's illegal. You see that mentioned over and over again everywhere. It's a bad thing, right? So, then I went up and took a look again, just to analyze the whole thing again. I saw that some of those watches in the trays with like metal watches are priced about $75, $79. And some of them had the price underneath, so you couldn't see it, of course. I got thinking too, what if somebody bought that fake Rolex Daytona and put it right on eBay or sold it on a classified website or on the internet? That could get some people in trouble, couldn't it? And that's what I was thinking. And there was nobody around the counter area to tell anybody. Like, ask questions, say, well, you got that fake watch there. Nobody around to tell anybody. So, when I was checking out, I had bought some books. When I was checking out, it's not too far. The checkout's not far from the watch counter there. So I was kind of watching to see if anybody's coming up to that counter. Because you know Value Village, They're slow as heck at the checkout counters. Just like a sloth. Just like trying to get a sloth to check you out. That's what they're like. So if you can think of a sloth being hired at the checkout counter, that's what you get. So stand there for quite a while. So I'm watching to see if anybody's coming up to that watch counter, because there was a man coming up to the watch counter, and then I watched him. I started watching him. He was looking right at those same watches. And then by the time he got there, a woman started to serve him. And that man pointed out to the counter woman the two watches that had Rolex printed on the dial. He said, those two watches say Rolex. So he knew darn well that they were fake, counterfeit watches. He says, those two watches there say Rolex. You know what she did? She just stood there and smiled and says, they come in new. That's all she said. Just stood there and smiled and said, they come in new. Yes, that's true. That one there did have some of that see-through wrapping, the transparent wrapping on the bracelet. So maybe they did come in new. But as soon as those watches were seen by any of those employees, you know what that should have happened? They should have went right either in the garbage can, or somebody should have taken a hammer to them, or a saw to them, or anything, or step on them, or whatever. That's what should have happened to those watches. They should not have been put on the counter. Not have been put on the counter at all. That's a disgrace. That is a disgrace to put those counterfeit watches on the counter. And I'm figuring they're charged probably about $79, well, probably about $70 to $80 for them, which is a disgrace. And here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking whoever handled the employees, whoever handled those watches, right from the start to the finish, whoever handled them and getting them priced, putting them on the counter, selling them, checking them out at the counter, every one of those employees should be fired, including the manager. Now repeat that again. Every one of those employees that had anything to do with the sale of that watch, from taking it from the bin, donation bin, putting the price on it, getting it ready, putting it behind the counter, in the counter person selling that watch, representing it, right down to the cashier, they all should be fired, including the manager. That's my opinion. And I think Value Village is a poor, ethical store to be selling counterfeit watches. Very poor ethics. Now what if some teenage kid saw that? Thinks, oh, well, look at that watch. Oh, teenage kid could buy that, go put it on eBay and get himself in a whole bunch of trouble. Because some kid would think, well, it must be okay because it's a second-hand store, and if it's okay. Some kid would think it's okay. Get himself in trouble, at least be questioned what his antics are. I'm talking kids like 15 or so. Maybe up to 18. Some 18-year-olds wouldn't know. So, very disappointed in Value Village. But there was no mistake about the whole thing. No mistake about it. Oh yeah, they want you to donate, don't they? Every crook wants you to donate, don't they? That's the thing about crooks. They all want you to donate. I talked about these things before in other YouTube videos. There's no mistake about knowing a counterfeit Rolex Daytona and you got a watch channel either. So thank you for your time, you guys. And don't let these fakes get away with it.